I'm here with my good friend Marcel, and we were recently lucky enough to be part of a festival called Unnamed Footage Festival, both covering it remotely. Which was it your first time covering it, Marcel?
Yes, my first time. I think it was actually my first time covering a festival
Oh,
virtually. I think I've attended some festivals before virtually, but first time covering one virtually.
for people that don't know, virtually means we get the film sent to us and we can just watch it in the comfort of our house because this festival's in San Francisco. I'm obviously in Scotland. I think you're in Florida.
Yeah,
Not that easy to get to San Francisco just for a festival. So
it's the same
it worked
distance
for
for
us.
both of us. West Coast is
Yeah.
just too far.
Yeah, he did. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through our top five. I think they are different, probably some similarities. We'll discuss the movie a little bit, see why we liked it, maybe why it wasn't in my top five or wasn't in your top five, and then yeah, we'll see how our lists match up. If you're cool with that,
Yeah, let's get into it.
cool. Okay, what did you have in fifth place?
So in fifth place, I had the Lost episode.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have that further up my list. So if you want, we'll talk about that when we get to it on my list. If you're cool with
No,
that.
that makes sense. That's perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. So for me, number five, I had maybe a controversial one was Tinsman Road.
Okay.
I believe you've got that higher up your list.
I have that. I have that just a little bit higher. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So we'll discuss why it's lower for me when we get to yours. Maybe you'll win me over and I'll move up my list. Okay, fourth. What do you have at number four?
At number four, I've got Solvent.
Ooh, I don't have that on my list at all. I have the rebrand.
Okay, which I haven't seen.
Perfect. So I've seen bits of Solvent. I'll be honest, I struggled to get into it because it had like a full score playing throughout it.
Yeah.
So if you're comfortable, give us a little breakdown of what Solvent is.
No, definitely. So Solvent is a film directed by, I believe his name is Johannes Grensferdner, and it's kind of about these group of experts who are trying to discover these Nazi artifacts in this Austrian farmhouse. And as they're searching through all these documents and artifacts, they stumble upon this like underground tunnel that has this hidden mystery that kind of becomes an obsession for the main character, who's actually played by John Grice, and he's the if you don't know who John Grice is, he's the actor
Right
in
from
White
White
Lotus,
Lotus. Yeah.
Uncle Rico, and Napoleon Dynamite. Which honestly, if you're watching Solvent, you wouldn't know who it is unless you're like very familiar with his voice. Because by the end of the movie, I saw the name pop up, and I'm like, John Grice, that sounds so familiar. I looked it up and I couldn't believe it because you see like the back of him like I think once or twice,
Yeah.
but you never see his face.
Yeah, I was the same. I went to IMDb because I'm going to find out. I like to see what the film's about a little bit, and I was like, oh, it's got an actual recognizable actor in it. That's
Yeah,
unusual. And I watched the first 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and I was like, it could be anybody, any
it
American
could
actor could be in
literally
that
be
role.
anybody.
The reason I struggled with it is there's a lot of what feels like inner monologue. So either he's saying it out loud or he's, in which normally I don't mind, but I need to be in a certain mind frame. And as I say, there's like almost a full orchestral score throughout it. And when
Mhm.
I'm in my found footage stage, I'm like, I'm okay with a little music. I'd rather no music, but I can let a little music go away. But this is a bit. So
No,
I don't know
and
if at the end it's like, well, here's the reason for all the music because it's a
I
documentary.
totally agree with you because I think there's another movie I think we both have on our list called Dream Eater that I had a similar issue with,
It's
and for some reason it bothered me more in Dream Eater. But I think in Solvent, since it's like from the get, it's just consistently throughout.
yeah,
I feel like it just kind of blends in really well. But I also think it's one of those found footage movies where it's like it was edited after the fact, and I think they kind of make that known because it's kind of all like edited together with these like crazy like sequences,
okay.
like edited within it. So kind of like makes sense, but I can totally see why that could throw somebody off because it usually throws me off as well.
Okay, that's good to know. I will finish it. I need to be in the right mind space
No,
for
yeah,
it.
it's a crazy movie. Have you seen another film from the director? Have you seen
No, I didn't.
Have you seen Razin Nest?
No, I've not even heard of that.
Oh yeah. So it's really quick. That movie's pretty interesting. So because this director is like very almost like experimental, and I don't usually really mess with like experimental movies. I'm kind of just like, Um, but Razin Nest, it's also kind of like found footage, but it's really interesting because the whole movie, it's about this filmmaker. He made this like experimental documentary, and he's recording the commentary for the movie. So the movie you're watching is the movie that director made, but the real movie is like the audio you're listening to, because
Ooh.
it's like the commentary is being recorded live, and then it becomes a horror movie because I don't want to spoil it, but things happen, and it's really interesting. I've never seen a movie like that personally. You
No,
should
that's
check it
very
out.
cool. It actually reminds me of, it's not a found footage film, well, technically I guess it is. It's called Masking Threshold, which is a guy that has like
Oh
a
yeah,
weird thing in his eye, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. So just constantly from his point of view, trying to do science in his house, and you can hear him slowly losing his mind, and it turns into like a cosmic horror at the end. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. So I think I will like it. I just need to be in the right mind space for.
no, for sure, I
It's
agree.
quite like when people start losing their mind in movies and it's just constant dialogue. I'm like, okay, I need to be. I don't want to feel like I'm losing my mind as well. So I need to be.
Yeah, and to your defense, the dialogue in Insolvent is a little can be a little annoying at times,
Yeah.
but
So
and what
for
about
the
the
rebrand, yeah. So any reason why you didn't watch it, or just run out of time?
no, I just didn't get around to it. I was trying to get to it. I was trying to squeeze in as many movies as I could, but I just couldn't get around to it. I hope I can still have access to it. I'm not sure,
I
but
think some of them are still available. I'm
some
not
of them are
sure if
still
all of them are.
available. Yeah, I'll see if I can get to it maybe this week.
So it's about a filmmaker who's 8 months pregnant, and she's being asked to do a documentary on this lesbian influencer couple who have been cancelled because one of them said something in the background of a live stream, and people are like, "That's awful. You can't say that." I don't think we actually hear what she said, but it's implied, so you can kind of put two and two together. So the reason I liked it so much is because it's a horror comedy, leans more into the comedy for the first hour, and I find with horror comedy it can be quite missed because they're very rarely scary, and if they're not funny, it's like, well, there's nothing really here for me to grab onto. But this actually cracked me up. I don't know if you've ever seen Reno 9/11.
Oh
A
yeah,
lot of humor.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so a lot of humor reminds me of that. Like the one of the influencers is like just over the top crazy, and then there's another one that's like nice, but I don't want to say stupid because that seems mean. But their character is it just made played up a bit dumb.
She's like a blonde essentially.
Yeah, but like not quite as obvious as that. Just kind of more
Okay.
naive to everything that's going on. And she's like, I'm so in love with this person that I'll overlook this craziness because I'm so
Mm.
nice. But I was genuinely laughing because there's really good visual gags as well. But I think I don't like about horror comedy is when they like they go to a gag and then they just keep on it and on it. Whereas this is just so quick that it could just be like, did I hear that right? Is that just a really fun, quick throwaway gag? And it's like, fuck, that's so good. So I hope it gets. I don't know what the distribution's like, but I hope more people see it because it is like I think it'll become a cult classic kind of film.
Yeah, and I haven't
From
seen
directors.
many horror comedies, especially even found footage horror comedy. I mean, there's a couple, there's like like Deadstream, but I know there's more out there that I haven't seen, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, a lot of them are a bit too on the nose, and you're just kind of like, okay, that's not really that funny. It's just a bit
Yeah, and
embarrassing.
then
But
I
this,
feel like influencer horror could also be like very like redundant and like
yes,
annoying, but that yeah, if you say it's funny, then I know you're a funny guy, so I trust your
thank you.
opinion. Yes.
Yeah, I'm hoping more people watch it. Obviously, well, a lot of these films are not be released. Don't know any release information because it's just at festivals, but hopefully we will soon enough. So, number 3.
Yes, I have Duba Duba.
Okay, that is not on my list, but mainly because I've seen it before the festival, so I didn't
Okay.
watch it this time. 3 is tough for me because 1, 2, and 3 could go anyway. So I'm gonna go. I'll go the lost episode at 3. Although I was
Oh, okay.
tempted to put it first, so let's say like I am a
At
big
number
fan of
one?
it. Yeah, like I.
Oh,
I'll, I'll
I didn't know you liked it that much.
I think the reason I liked it so much, so I guess we'll start with this one, is so Lost episode, it's like an episode of Cops, but bad stuff happens in it, like demonic stuff, I guess. So the episode is Lost, hence the name, and it's never aired until someone on, I don't know, it didn't say the dark web, it just says Black Torrent, so I don't know if it's just a normal web, but
Yeah.
so they find this footage and then they put it online. The reason I liked it so much is because some of the films we'll have higher up are really well polished and they feel kind of cinematic. Like I could watch them in like a theater and be happy, whereas this felt the most found footagey to me. Like there wasn't really any added music that I can remember. The end was all like really dark and shaky camera, and I'm like, yes, this is the found footage that I grew up on. So I think it just kind of, a lot of the others didn't give me that found footage feel, whereas that did. So I think I liked it more due to that, more than how good the movie was, if that makes sense. I still think it's a
Well,
good
I'm
movie.
No, I think it's a good movie too. I think you nailed it there because it definitely is the most found footage. You're right. I don't think there was any like added music. It was just like just raw footage, you know. But it also felt like a VHS segment, but it worked as a feature
Yes.
because like I think there was no wasted time or filler information. I think like everything they did in like the movie earlier on kind of paid off at the end. Like everything mattered. It was like very
Oh yeah.
meticulous. And you know, if you know, like I'm of like one of my biggest pet peeves in found footage movies are just like filler information, just like 40 minutes of nothing, and
Yeah.
then you get like the last like 20 minutes is just like crazy stuff. If it matters in the beginning and it's still kind of slow, I'm all for it if it pays off toward the end. And that's
Yeah.
why I think
Yeah.
I really liked the lost episode because it did that.
Yeah, yeah, and funnily enough, mentioned the Reno 911. It also had some segments that was like where the guy's naked on the bike, and I was like, oh, it's just like Nick
Yeah.
Swarsden on the roller skates, and I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. So like, I didn't really watch Cops, but my mine is kind of Reno 911 is my Cops, I guess. So I'm aware of Cops. I was like, yeah, this is they've kind of
I mean, I think Reno is just like I think it's a parody on cops. Just you know, that's pretty much the same thing. So
yeah, yeah. So I loved it. What was your so Duba Duba? You'll need to remind me because I've definitely watched it and I remember it being a lot of like home camera stuff, I think. But explain
yeah,
why you've got it so
no,
high.
Duba Duba is an experience that I've never had before. I know you've like seen way more found footage movies than I have, so maybe you've seen movies similar to this, but I've never seen anything like this. This was like also usually not in my wheelhouse. These kind of movies that are very like I guess experimental in a sense to kind of throw me off. But Duba Duba just super interesting because again, it feels like it was edited after the fact, kind of put
Yeah.
together one of those found footage movies, and it almost seems like it's not found footage because there's so many cameras around the house, but I think it adds to this like level of just insanity in the movie. I should probably talk about what Duba Duba is first. So Duba Duba is about this singer, aspiring singer who's babysitting on the side to make more money, and she ends up babysitting a 16-year-old like suffering from severe anxiety and like it's so bad you have to like approach her room and say Duba Duba constantly to make
Oh
sure
yeah.
like she knows it's a safe person. It's like a safe word. And why she's like that is because I think apparently her brother passed away in their house because somebody like broke in and killed the brother. So she's like you know severely anxious. But it's just insane like the way it's edited. It almost seems like it's like edited on like a Windows 95 computer. Again, it has a lot of like uh, I guess pictures kind of edited into um, I don't know like as a juxtaposition to like what's
Yeah.
happening in the movie. And the actress, I forget her name. I think her name is, I have it here, Betsy Sly. She's the one who plays the main character Monroe.
Yep.
Her performance, in my opinion, has to be up there as like one of the craziest performances for found footage, up there with like Mark Duplass and Creep, or even in Be My Cat. Um, it's just a crazy performance, and it worked for me. I think everything that usually doesn't work for me, it just worked for me because it felt so like just what's the word, just consistent.
Yeah, yeah. I from what I remember, if I'm thinking of the right movie, like the dad does something strange at the beginning to the babysitter. Like he says something or drops condoms or something. I can't remember. Am I
Yeah,
thinking of a totally different movie?
now I know. No, he's weird. Well, like the mom and dad are weird because you get weird vibes from them because you know like when they're kind of briefing her about Monroe, he says like weird comments and he can't like pronounce her name correctly, and um, he's just like a little shady. I don't remember if he did something exactly then.
I
He
might be
might have.
confusing it with a completely other movie.
Okay, no,
I
but
watched so
they're
much.
they're definitely shady. Yeah.
Okay. So I remember really liking the first 45 minutes or so, and then for some reason I didn't like the ending, but I can't remember for the life of me why. And obviously I'm not going to spoil what happened here, but I will rewatch it when it gets a more official release, which must be relatively soon because
You
it's
saw
been
you
out
saw it a
in the
while
festive
ago.
as well. Yeah, so I don't know if it might have been the filmmaker that actually sent it to me a while ago.
Oh,
So it's
nice.
maybe
Okay.
changed a bit since then as well because I think they do make edits based on feedback. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out again because and I like seeing Duba Duba. So
Yeah, yeah. It just kind of rolls off the tongue.
exactly. So number two.
Number two for me is Dream Eater.
Same for me. Number 2 for me
Oh,
as well.
okay, nice.
Do you want to explain Tree Meter?
No, I think you should do it.
Okay.
Or was that a segue? Or was that segue like, oh yeah, you should do it? Like, I'll do it.
No, like I'm happy to. So I'm like, I heard about this film in October last year because I was playing at a Lovecraft festival in America, and I was trying to find cosmic horror stuff. And then I saw there was a found footage cosmic horror. And I was like, shit, I need that. So I messaged the filmmaker, Alex, then, being like, when is this going to be available? And he's like, could be like a year. I was like, oh, damn it. So thankfully, when I saw it was Unnamed, I was like, okay, this is my most anticipated movie. I don't know what it's about. I just know that it's found footage, cosmic horror. That's all I need to know. So in it, we've got Alex and I forget his girlfriend's name.
Mallory.
Yes. So Alex suffers from parasomnia, and we hear via a police call like a violent episode. Do we actually hear what happened? Did he break a window or something? I can't actually remember.
I think it was I think she was just like explaining that he was like hurting himself or something. Oh man, no, I don't remember.
I can't remember either exactly. It was via like a police phone call. So they take a vacation away for Alex's birthday. Mallory's told by a therapist, a sleep doctor, whatever it was, to film the parasomnia. So film every night, and we see things happening to Alex every night. It starts getting worse and worse. We start hearing whistling and some voices. So we're like, okay, something's definitely affecting him. I don't know if it's followed him from home. I don't think that's ever made clear, or if maybe I missed that. But it gets crazy. Of course, it's found footage, and it ramps up the scary scenes, as every found footage does. It starts off a little slow with just little hints, and then it explodes. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's definitely some stuff in there that is people are going to love. Like, it's going through a bit of a viral buzz, Dream Eater, just now, mainly thanks to a friend, Chuck the Movie Guy.
Oh yeah, Chuck's video
2 million views.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So I think that's, and I'll be playing, for anyone that is watching this, I'll be at Unnamed Virtual Festival whenever that is. Should be in the next few months, so people can see it before October, so they'll actually get to see it early. So hopefully more people will sign up to that. Did I miss anything about the movie?
No, I think you nailed it.
I think we both had similar issues with it though, as well.
Yeah, like for me, it was a little bit of the non-diegetic sound. Not to get technical, it's kind of like the added sound into the movie, and because in a lot of the scenes that were scary, you got a lot of those like extra effects that were kind of like, like around the corner, and then you hear that loud boom. But yeah, so that bothered me. That's mainly the only thing that really bothered me. I think everything else was great. But what was interesting as I was watching the movie, the whistling actually didn't bother me, because I thought at first it was like, okay, what's this? Is this like a score? Like, what is this? But then the more I realized, specifically the whistling in the movie, actually is probably like what Alex is hearing, or because I think in the movie, like I think he brings it up like, do you hear that whistling or whatever? I think he says something like that. And then
a baby crying, I think he said, when they were out in the...
Oh, yeah, that too, yeah. So it kind of, that's really interesting, and I haven't really seen that, where it's kind of like the audience also hears what the character is listening to. I thought that was a really great thing, because that whistling was actually pretty creepy.
Yeah, like that's, I think sound, not added sound as in like music and things, but like the doorbell, when it goes like somebody has entered the door, like, or entered the building, like that's in the middle of the night, that to me would be a scary thing to hear. So I'm like, add that. And the whistling, I think we were supposed to hear that, so I think it is diegetic, the whistling. And same as when he goes into the barn and he hears the voices, I'm like, okay, so we hear that too. It's not just all in Alex's head, I think. Speaking to the filmmaker, 'cause when I put my review out, I was like, I loved it apart from the non-diegetic music. And he was like, I agree, but in our mind, there's a character that's making a documentary, so they've added the music in. It's not found footage, like you've not found this footage. So I was like, okay, I'm like, yeah, that totally makes sense. I appreciate that, but I think in their mind they probably would have liked to not have the music, but probably people were like, no, it'd be scarier if you had this in. So, and I get it. These days I feel like it's a lot more common. I'm trying to be less nitpicky with that because it's a lot more common in found footage. But every time it happens, I complain. I'm like, I think I'm in a losing battle here. And maybe just be like, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So Dream Eater will be out October on video on demand. We do know that for sure. And to say it'll be a virtual festival for Unnamed. Don't know a date for that yet though, but going to follow them
So
on Instagram.
the unnamed festival is doing the virtual, like,
Yeah, so they do the in-person festival, but they also do a 24-hour virtual festival where like everyone can log in and they do it on the website and you can watch along with people on Discord or whatever. So you can discuss the movies that are going
Oh
on.
wow, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. They put a lot of effort. I missed it last year, but there were some really good movies in there. I don't think it'll be the exact same movies as what you got from this festival, but
Yeah,
I think with Dream Eater having a bit of a viral hit, they've locked that down
it should
to
be on there.
get some
Yeah.
views in, which is good because then we can all advertise it and hopefully get them more publicity because
Awesome.
they
Yeah,
deserve
definitely.
it because they put in a lot of work for this
Oh yeah,
festival.
and the whole team is great. So
Oh yeah, really nice. Okay, so clearly we have different number ones.
we do.
So
I
your
guess I'll
number
go
one.
first. My
Yeah.
number one is Tinsman Road. That's my number one. I know that was your number five. You said, right?
Yes. You explain why you like it, and I'll explain maybe why it's a bit lower down for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. So Tinsman
Obviously, we
Road.
can we can't go into too much detail with this one on request of the filmmaker. So
No, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll just kind of get to the bare bones of it. So Tinsman Road is Robbie Bin. Oh my God, Banfitch. Yeah, it's Robbie
fanfiction.
Banfitch's sophomore film after the Outwaters, and pretty much it's just about this guy who lives in California, and he goes to his hometown in New Jersey to kind of get more familiarity and uncover kind of what happened to his sister who went missing years ago. And yeah, I think like, how much can I get into it? Kind of just like,
So I don't know. They did say when I got sent it, they said try and tread lightly with this because I know it's not even going to be in other festivals yet. It was kind of an exclusive
oh
early
wow,
look for Unnamed, so I think he's not even sent it out to people. So I think we have to be very vague with it.
okay, yeah,
Just out of respect for Robbie.
no, definitely. And after this movie, oh man, the respect is up because I love this movie. I guess the first thing I'll say is that I think this is, like, personally for me, closest thing to a masterpiece that I've seen recently. I think I loved it that much. Um, I think it kind of just brings back the, like, simplicity of found footage, kind of like that old school Blair Witch vibe. Because it's all shot on mini DV, like 4:3 ratio and everything, so it just has that feel to it. And even though it's kind of like a slow burn, it still manages to keep it really interesting because it, like, touches on these themes of grief, remembrance, and it's just a beautiful film. It's crazy. It's I don't know how else to explain it. I don't want to, obviously dive into too many things about the movie, but I guess I'll. What did you not really like about it? I guess.
So, how did you feel about the Outwaters, which was his first movie?
I was not a fan of the Outwaters personally. I'm
Yeah.
pretty outspoken about that. Yeah, I just that movie I can talk about. So yeah, I just, for me, I didn't like how abstract it was. I know I talked to Chuck about this, and Chuck said that there's like two short films that are
They're on
connected to the
screen
Outwaters.
box, yeah.
They're on Screenbox, yeah, which I haven't seen. He said that if I watch those and then revisit the Outwaters, maybe it'll change my outlook on it. But I wasn't a fan of how abstract it was. It was kind of weird. It almost felt like a Terrence Malick film for found footage because it was just like very, like, almost like not. I mean, it was linear, but kind of all over the place with the
Yeah.
characters. You never really got time with the characters. You didn't really get to, like, know them too well. And then, I appreciate what it was trying to do on a cosmic level with, with what it did, but I could not for the life of me get past the, like, mini flashlight, like, darkness thing. It was, like, a little too vague for me. It was too much. Actually, it was too little. That was, like, my problem with it.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. um and I just never felt that, like, fear of what was happening to the characters. It never really resonated with me. Yeah, and I actually did see an early cut. Maybe it changed because I watched it, I think, at like Panic Fest virtually or something. That I bought a ticket for it because it was making the rounds on this like Facebook found footage group that I'm in, and people were like raving about it. But yeah, just not a fan.
No, no, me neither. I for the exact same reasons as you. I just like it felt headache inducing trying to like squint to see what was happening at points, and maybe if I watch it again on a laptop with headphones in the dark, I'll be like, okay. And after Chuck raving about it, he's like, just get immersed in it, and I'm like, okay, but we'll see. I'll give it another chance. And I will check the ones out in Screenbox. I think there's a Screenbox version where it's the police are watching it and they're talking about what happens. And I'm like, oh, I like the idea of that. Similar to the movie you mentioned earlier where he's doing the documentary, the voiceover for his own documentary. So
Okay.
it might give some stuff away. I don't know. I've not seen it, but I will check it out because I've just got on Screenbox. So there's a lot I want to watch. So the reason I want to revisit it because it's quite long. So it's like 2 hours long, I think.
Yeah.
So there was times where it felt like a art school project, and he's like just hanging out with his friends, and I'm like, okay, like this is okay, but my mind starts to wander, and I was like, oh shit, I need to pull myself back in. So I'm maybe missing some stuff. So like it felt a bit too vibey at points, which I'm okay with, but for 2 hours, I'm like, okay, you're losing me a little bit here, and it does
This
pull
is
me in every
for Tisman Road, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the sound design is phenomenal. Like I love the 4x3. I'm a huge fan of 4x3 stuff. Like all the analog horror I watch is 4x3, and it's very vintage aesthetic, which I love. But I don't know. I struggled for the first hour or so, and then when it's like, it got a little scary near the end. Not like terrifying, but I see what he was going for. That won me over, but I felt like with a little editing, I can maybe be like, oh man, this is perfect. But I think like my ADHD brain was all over the place, so it needs to have something to
trim it
in.
down a little bit.
Yeah, which he won't because he didn't without water, so he's not going to trim this down. But I respect the craft, I guess.
Yeah, because I know you guys are talking about it on your podcast, I think, where Chuck said, there's a lot of things you like miss in the background, and then I messaged him and we spoke about it after the fact, and like there was some things that I saw, there's some things that he saw, and I think that's pretty interesting. That you can kind of like see maybe small things thrown in the film that you wouldn't even realize, and then after your podcast, when I was watching Tinsman Road, I was like just looking everywhere, just like is there anything I'm missing? And yeah, and I can definitely see, because I know I've complained about this just like literally like 5 minutes ago, where where a movie just starts off so slow and it's just like, oh my god, can we just get to the point sometimes, or like what, like you said, trim it down a little bit, let's get to let's wrap it up. But something about this movie, it just worked with me, even though it was a little slow towards the beginning. It kind of just because you get to like I don't want to get too much into it, but the people that he meets, you get to like kind of look at that, and he goes around like the town and talks to, like you said, like his friend, like these people, and kind of building this rapport with them. And it kind of leads to something pretty big towards the end. Yeah, I just thought it was like a beautiful film. It was actually weird. It was almost like one of the first found footage movies that almost made me cry. It was just like beautiful towards the end. It was crazy, and I've never really felt that watching a found footage movie. So I literally had to DM Robbie and apologize for not liking the Outwaters because I love this movie so much.
So he did it. But I like that he's tried something different. Like it must be difficult to come up with something that's not just let's go in a scary place and do a scary thing. It's like, okay, let's try and craft, like, grief is hard to do because there's also that. I don't know if you watched that What I Remember from.
No, I didn't. No.
So I checked that out as well, and I was like, so it's very similarly filmed. It's all 4x3 old camcorder, but it's how do I say without spoiling? So a boy that doesn't feel like a boy, and he meets a girl, and they get on really well, and it's what I imagine I saw the TV Glow is like, but I've not seen I saw the TV Glow, so but it's like the found footage version of that, and I was like, okay, so they're actually trying to make like really like heartfelt found footage that leads into horror. I'm like, yeah, like I appreciate people trying something different. It might not hit for me, but I will still support it, and I'll still shout it out all over the place, because there will be, like you, there'll be people that absolutely love this, and if we don't talk about it, then they maybe never hear of it. So
exactly,
like, fair play, Tom. Like I appreciate it.
And what was your number one?
So I don't think you've seen it. What happened to Dorothy Bell?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't check that out.
So I rewatched it. So I saw it at Fantastic Fest in a theater, and I liked it then. I didn't love it, but I think found footage in a theater, it's not the right place for it for most of them. Like some of them, like Dream Eater in a theater would probably be quite cool because it's quite cinematic.
Yeah.
But I rewatched What Happened to Dorothy Bell on a laptop with headphones, and I was like, okay, I feel it. Like it hits. It's some of the scares are a little cheesy, maybe, but it works for me because we don't get a lot of like what I would class as scary, thought out found footage films. Most of it's just scary faced, loud noise. If
Okay.
they actually put effort into it, and it's filmed in different ways. So we get like an old VHS camcorder, we get some screen life stuff, we get like
Oh wow.
4K digital all switches all between them. It's about Ozzy, whose grandma commits a horrific act, and then she's like, I want to try and figure out why my grandma did that. And then we learn more and more about it, and it's really well done. There's loads of nice little things happening in the background that aren't like the center of what you should be focused on, but you see them because we all pay attention to found footage because the way filmmakers angle it, you can, if there's someone here, you know that something's going to be happening back here because that's just a found footage trope nowadays, I guess.
Oh
But
yeah.
I love that. I love that stuff when you just like, and she also, because she's recording everything, she checks the footage. So sometimes in found footage, you're like, did I see something there? But she's like, look, I just saw this thing. Did you see it? And so then she zoom in and be like, oh shit, your grandma's
Oh,
there.
like a callback or whatever to something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
happened. Yeah.
So, which I think like Paranormal Activity, Blackwell Ghost does it really well too. Like
Mhm.
he'll film everything and he'll be like, here's all the stuff you maybe didn't see, and I'm going to zoom in on it. So I appreciate that because there's a lot of stuff you maybe miss. And then
Yeah.
you rewatch it, you're like, oh shit, I'm going to check to see if I notice it this time. So that I think it's tough to say it's probably the scariest found footage film I've watched because it's so subjective.
No, but I'm excited to watch it. I don't even know anything about this movie. I for some reason it wasn't on the press. Maybe I missed it. I didn't see it on like the press list for like screeners.
It was there because it was one of the first ones I
Oh
asked
wow,
for.
I must have missed that because I would have definitely asked for a screener for that one. But maybe I'll see if I can somehow get around to watching it some way somehow.
I think it's doing quite a lot of festivals because I know it's at Panic Fest as well, it's virtual. So I think a lot of people are cottoning onto it. I hope it gets released. It's still not got a distribution, which is crazy to me because
Been
anytime
out
I
for a
post
while.
anything about it on social media, people are like, "What is this? When is it? I need it." And I'm like, I don't have any information. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of teasing people, just being like, "Check out this thing."
I also
Part of me
like this
wishes.
little yeah. I also like this little like trend that's happening with like what happened to blank. You know, it's
Yeah.
like we have like what happened to Susie, which just came out, and I'm sure there's others that I missed, but
Oh, there will be.
um,
People will just be
yeah,
like, "Who am I supposed to know who these people are?"
yes,
I saw like there's a person that posts on Reddit quite often. Does like a daily review. Oh, you're on Reddit. You maybe see him. He posts
yeah,
a
yeah.
daily found footage movie, and he hates these movies that have like a person's name in them. And I'm like, but that's the movie's going to tell you who the person is. So it doesn't matter that you
Yeah.
don't know them. It's not going to be like what happened to Madonna, and then there's going to be a movie about Madonna. It's going to be unknown people, of course. So it's a weird thing to get mad about, but
Oh, so he hates it because he's like, who are these people or whatever.
yeah, exactly. Am I supposed to care about these people? I'm like, oh, by the end of the movie, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Any
What?
other movies you want to mention that you saw, or was that really your
No, that
only
those
one?
were actually the only five I mentioned, and I'm kind of worked out for me because I liked all those movies. I mean, you know, the last episode you were like really high on, and that was like my number five. Which you know, but the thing is, it's like they're so close. Other than like probably it's like Tisman Road for me is like on another level, and like Dream Eater, and then like the other ones are pretty like close for me. Um, but yeah, those are those just ones I was able to check out, and I definitely want to watch the rebrand and what happened to Dorothy Bell for sure. So
I hope you can get them. Like, I'm sure the filmmakers will send it to you if
yeah.
Unnamed can't. Thank you for joining me on my first YouTube video in about 6 months.
No,
Appreciate you
hey,
coming
but
on.
you're killing it with the shorts. So
Yeah. So, anything you want
awesome,
to
man.
shout out for yourself?
Yeah, I'll be covering the Florida Film Festival from April, well, I guess April 11th to April 20th, and there is going to be a found footage movie playing at the festival.
Ooh.
Very lucky to be watching. It doesn't get any better than this.
Oh, wait, is that?
That's the
That
one where it's like it's only going to be it's never getting released digitally. It's only
Okay.
being screened at like theaters and festivals and like special
Yes,
screenings.
I am aware of
Um,
this, unfortunately.
and yeah, and I think this is like well, yeah, because if you're all the way over in
Yeah, we'll never get
Scotland.
it.
They'll have to do like international tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let me see. I think it's the first Florida showing that they're doing, because I don't think it's come to Florida. So I'm really grateful that it's coming to the Florida Film Festival. And I even though I'm press, I bought a ticket, because for press you don't get automatic like seat to the theater. You have to wait in
Okay.
a standby line, and I'm pretty sure that might sell out, because if people are aware of this movie is never going to be shown like digitally, maybe they'll flock to it. And I already made a video about it, but it did okay. But I bought a ticket because I'm not risking it. I want to watch this movie.
Yeah, I think Chuck has seen it because
Yeah.
he knows everybody, and he's just like, "Can I get it, please?" So he was quite high on it. So hopefully it works for you as well. I'm definitely interested to hear what you think about it, because I don't even know what it's about. I just know it's like it's not
Same. I
coming
have
to
no idea.
theaters. I'm like, well, I'm not going to look into what it's about because I might be like, I need to see this and I can't. So,
But apparently, if you on their website, if you kind of push it that you want it screened in your area and it can get a good attention, they could bring it over there. So maybe you can
okay.
be the first to have it over there.
Nice. Yeah, I'll jump on. I'll do a
Yeah.
screening in my house. I'll put links to your socials in the description for this video, if people want to click and find you. You have an eye for films that other people maybe missed, like Milk and Cereal. As people like to wind me up, but often I stole that from you, even though I asked your permission. But
No, definitely. Yeah, because that was during a time when I was just like, I was taking a break from like kind of making videos, and I was like, "Nah, dude, just make the video, man." Just like, Yeah, because
so,
I just brought it to your attention. It's like, I thought it was good, and I was like, yeah, watch this movie. So, you take all the credit, man.
I can't even really take. All I did was then get it to Chuck and Sydney, and they blew it up. But
Yeah,
so technically, we did a little bit because they wouldn't have seen it because of us. But
that's true. Okay.
Amazing. As again, thank you for joining us, or me. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon. And subscribe.
Awesome, yeah, this was fun. Let's do it again.
Will do. Cheers, buddy.
All right, brother.